Welcome YouTubers and our clients at InStar Alliance. This week is going to be a little bit shorter because we're going to break it into two parts. That way it'd be easier for people to watch it. And basically it's going to be how to survive and prosper in a pandemic through alternative income streams. Basically what we are discussing here is looking at options. Options that in the event your job you get laid off. It's not very surprising here in a pandemic. And even though it's your primary source of income, do you want to keep working on it till you die? Probably not. You want to have options for yourself. So then that way, if for some reason or another your job doesn't cover all your expenses and build the life that you wanted it to, then you have other income streams covering you for that. Also, too, it gives you opportunity, which very few people have in the U.S., of being able to retire earlier than what they normally could have if they just continue to go down the path of a job. So, as I mentioned earlier and in the past, I decided to rehash this. Vanessa Lau has her YouTube channel and talks about this as well, about alternate incomes. And let me go quickly over the list that we have here. Okay, the first one that we had was earned income. And earned income is what we just discussed. Most people like just working a job or tolerate it. Is that a good idea as primary income? Absolutely not, because anything can happen with that. Another option that people like to do, I've done it myself, and it's, obviously we'll get to stocks in a moment, but some people like to just clear off the excess items in their lives, and that can be done through eBay. I haven't done it much with Amazon, but eBay is good. Actually, I had contacted this one guy, and I was buying this Sonos speaker for a room to go and complement the system that we had in that room. And the guy was mentioning, I was asking him, well, your price is negotiable. Is this the only source of income? And he says he made $10,000 to $15,000 a month off of this. So it's possible. $10,000 to $15,000 a month is very good income, and that's just from what most people consider as a secondary income. So eBay is something not to be scoffed at. A lot of people use it. What they do is called retail arbitrage, where they go ahead and find prices on different things. They keep an eye out for certain items that they want to try to sell, that they believe that will sell well. They have analytics as well on eBay, just like they have here with YouTube, and you can kind of get a feel a little bit about what's hot in the market and go that route. I think that online marketing like Amazon and eBay is probably the wave of the future. More people are getting to a point now where they just want to buy stuff online. Usually when I'm buying stuff, I would say 70% of the time I'm usually looking at those two sites first and then working backwards. So I think that's a good investment of time to do that. Interest income. A lot of people figure that that'll be my source of income, is interest income from banks. And that averages anywhere between 0.25 of a 1%. The average is probably 0.75 of 1%. And in some cases, when you're opening up a new account, you might get 1%. So 1% on your income is not a lot of income on your savings. In other words, it's just meaningless. It doesn't create any opportunity for you to grow financially. Here at InStar Alliance, here in the Washington, D.C. area, we work with financial institutions that offer 4.75 or 6% interest on your savings. You say, how can you do that? How can the rate be so high? Well, we don't look at just savings accounts only, but we look at banks in a different manner. Those who are working with us know this answer, so I'm not going to get into it very far. But the question is, can you make a sizable amount of financial guess, uh, investment that's prosperous to you through interest income from banks. Or let's even take it one step further with 401ks and IRAs. All three of those, of course, the answer can only be one answer, which is no. We had a conversation, and you can go and look it back on there about 401s and IRAs. As long as the market is involved with them, and we explain in detail how the market drains them and how other people prosper from them. So I would say if you're going long and trying to ride the market long through 401ks and IRA, it's not going to work for you. You're not going to make a lot of money there. And then if by some miracle from God that you come out and you manage to pull it out before the market resets itself and you lose the income to other people through options, before all that happens, they're taking a pretty good sizable hit, over 30% off the taxes of it, so it even drains it more. So 401ks, IRAs, no. That type of interest, no. Another types of residual income is through YouTube, which is this. We set up this site to teach our clients. It's not necessarily to build a base through Instagram, though many people do. I think Facebook has gotten to a point now where people have kind of pulled away from Facebook, so I wouldn't really say Facebook is the best way to go, in my opinion. Again, this is a training video. This is different than what most people do for a living. There are some people who do well with it, and we tip their hat to them. Our income is through our business, but YouTube is definitely a way of earning and generating income. If you don't mind being in front of a camera and you don't mind having topics that are informative and teach people like we do, great. And you have something that you feel that people would be interested in, then this would be a good option for you. I would say between that and another portion of it that I like that Vanessa Lau talks about and working on right now are these digital downloads. Digital downloads are an excellent source of income, because once you built this digital book, and hopefully the information is, informative enough that people will want to buy it, then it's a good source of residual income. Presently now, because our business, we haven't been able to complete a digital download book yet. We will have one up probably in 2021 sometime. Hopefully no later than that. But that's really good. Another option is affiliate marketing, and with marketing brands back on YouTube. That helps a lot. Sometimes people are curious, well, what product do you recommend? Like for, say, YouTube, what camera would you recommend to use? And you can generate an income from that. Now, backing up to YouTube, it's got to be at least 1,000 subscribers and at least 4,000 hours watched before you start to make income with this. We're in front of our clients, talking in front of them. We text them, we email them. Sometimes we visit them and went to do contracts and this sort of thing. So we're getting our words out our way. But if you have topics that you feel that are really interested and that people might be interested in listening about and it's informative, then YouTube and a digital download would be an excellent option. The cool thing about this stuff, once you do this stuff, especially with the digital download, and like I said, Vanessa Lau talks about it making like $85,000 a month, which I think is pretty good income, off of her digital download book to teach coaches who, I guess, self-help teach people. Once you've gotten it done and you've completed it and you put it online, it's done. It's a residual income that will feed you as long as you keep it up. Another one is dividend income from stocks, and we talked about stocks. Stocks, you have to understand. There are three things that you have to understand about them. You have to understand the graphs. First, you have to have the time. And you have to understand that stocks don't run on your schedule. Stocks never run on anybody's schedule, in fact. They can be predictable, as we talked about in the past. in regards to setbacks and like resets. And you need to have an idea what the current event status is in order to truly invest in stocks. You have to know what expansion, retention, and then a trend would be. You have to know when the graph is going like this, and then when it's pulling back, retraction, and then you have to know when the graph goes. You should be at a point from studying the graphs when then you're right here and then it goes up. So those are the three things that you need to know. As simple as that might sound, for some people they don't understand it. It takes practice to study those graphs and understand when a trend is coming. And then you have to understand it's all emotional. As long as it's all emotional, you always got to realize that current events is going to play a huge part when dealing with stocks. Can you make money with it? I think Warren Buffett proved without a shadow of a doubt, you can make money with it and do well and be one of the wealthiest people in the world with it. But you can't run it long and stick it on there and then pray for a Hail Mary that all of a sudden it's going to pay off, 10 years from now. Because what happens when you lose that income, when it's taken from you, and income never vanishes, it just moves from one person to another person, and that's what options are for. But when you lose that income, then you have to build it back up to that level. And the only way you can do that is you have to put more money into it versus waiting on it. Otherwise, the pullback that has drained you, and as you go back forward again, you have less money to, build interest with and to build a growth, to build dividends with, to make it bigger with, basically. So you have to understand that if you don't have this type of time in order to deal with these stocks, understand the graphs. I always recommend a lot of people start off with Forex because they have excellent graph systems. They're all free. You can learn, and then that helps to teach you when you're dealing with stocks. And Forex is just dealing with currencies. But my point here is, if you don't have the time for it because of your job, then don't. And I don't know if anyone will tell you that, because you just put in a trade and then throw in a Hail Mary. I think this trade will go up in a year. You're going to come back. It's not going to be where you hoped it would be. So that's something to seriously think about. I think we've covered the first part, and I wanted to break it down and to make it as easy and as quick as possible, because these things take time and you to kind of research on your own to learn about. Back at Instar Alliance here in the DMV area, Washington, D.C. area, we recommend these people to try to reduce their debt so that they can involve themselves in these alternate forms of income. And we recommend you as well to do that. Some of our basic philosophies are can be used to any environment anywhere in the U.S. It doesn't have to be here in the Washington, D.C. area. And the other agencies that work with stuff similar to what we do in other parts of the country. But my point here is, as I finish up this first part, is to have an open mind. You have to understand that if you don't have an open mind, what's going to happen is you're going to invest in the wrong things. You're going to leave your money in a savings account where you make no interest on it. You're going to be lazy, hedonistic, and hope for the best, and you're going to fail. And you're going to find yourself coming into retirement with very little income to sustain yourself. And Social Security was never designed to be a form of a retirement pension. It is a subsidy. It's supposed to subsidize whatever you put together on your own prior to that. 401k is just a payout of some money if there's anything left in it, or whatever hasn't been drained out of it for you to live off of. Pensions, as we know them in the past, are gone. This is the best route that you can do. I know that some government has stuff, but then they even got a lot of cutbacks. And in the future, who knows how it will be with it. But, that's here in the D.C. area. And there aren't government agencies all over the country for you to work at to hope that you can maybe get it. And not a lot of money's put aside for it as well. But that's another conversation. Anyway, that's the first part, and we'll get back with you shortly.